All right, what's good, fam? Kyle Henderson along with Trey Yanity coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Trey, what's up, man? How you been?
I've been good, Kyle. Doing well. Another week. Tennessee hate week, I guess, this week now. So it's going to be a lot of fun. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, last year, if you watched our post-game show, remember we were smoking cigars.
I was going to say, that was a cigar game.
Yeah, we were smoking cigars in the Bam Insider studio. I wasn't sure how the missus was going to like it, but everything worked out fine. And there was some good cigars. So, if you got them, smoke them. And you know, our friends at R&R Cigar, a great place, great selection. You've been there?
Oh, yeah.
Remember
for sure.
we went there. We were talking about it. We went to the cigar mansion. Look for Reagan Starter. Tell them Kyle Henderson sent you. Go get your cigars. They have a huge humidor, right? And you go in and you can pick any type of cigar, whether you're an expert or a newbie. So definitely check it out. Of course, you got to be of age. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. We appreciate you guys more than you know. You can also become a member of our YouTube channel. How do you do that? Simply hit the join button at the bottom of the screen where it says join. You can also throw some super chats. You can hit a thumbs up. And, of course, tonight we are taking your score prediction for Alabama versus Tennessee. Chris is our producer. What's the line on this game? What's it looking like?
I believe it was 25.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, 24 and a half, something like that.
And so 67, I think, is the
okay, so there we go. Betting line, Alabama favored by 25. It's kind of a weird odd total, right?
Yeah.
And 67 over. So, wow, they're expecting Tennessee to put some points on the board.
Yeah. I mean, this offense is reloaded, Kyle. This is the Josh Heupel era at Tennessee. Yeah. This is not what we were used to. So this could be a bit of a different game. Excited to get into it tonight.
Yeah, we will, throw some scores on the screen here in a little while. You guys just keep it going, and we'll have our every 10 minutes or something like that. We'll kind of have our chaos where we throw on the screen the scores. Someone was like, "I hate the avatar selection." Someone didn't like it, so we want to hear from you. I read the comments. Wow. I want to please the people. You guys don't like. I mean, we want to do this right. Yeah. Trey, when we just heard from Nick Saban. You can watch that press conference in its entirety. He gave a quick update on Drew Sanders and Byron Young. Byron Young, defensive lineman from Alabama. Let's get to that, and then we will kind of dive into this matchup a little bit between Alabama and Tennessee. Inside the comment box, while we're waiting for everybody to check in, hit the thumbs up. Goes a long way. Helps us get into the YouTube stratosphere of things that are popular. But I want to hear from you. Where were you in 2006? Where were you in 2006, and how old were you? Maybe that's a better question. Where were you, or how old were you in 2006? I have a feeling that these guys, our producer and Trey, they're barely in diapers, maybe. So, let's get Saban up on the screen
this week,
and let's get to minute 122, where Saban provides an update on Drew Sanders and Byron Young.
Sanders and Byron Young, who've been dealing with injuries.
Yeah, Byron Young has practiced. He practiced today. We're hopeful that he'll be able to contribute some in the game. Drew Sanders is probably very doubtful for this game, but we're hopeful that maybe he'll be with the bye week coming up and another week. It just depends, I mean, they got to re-X-ray his wrist and make sure that everything is okay in there, and we're hopeful that he'll be back for LSU.
We'll go to Nick Kelly in Tuscaloosa.
All right, that was Nick Saban on Wednesday. You can watch that press conference in its entirety right here on our YouTube channel. Drew Sanders, he's the number 2 outside linebacker behind Chris Allen, who was hurt. Chris Allen only played in 10 snaps before he suffered a season-ending injury. And then Drew Sanders, we never got an official word what it was, but it sounded like a hand or a thumb. Saban said right now is they have to look at his wrist. We've been watching the last couple games with Dallas Turner. What's been your take on Dallas Turner, the true freshman that's been starting in his place?
I love Dallas Turner. We were talking about this last night. Dallas Turner was one of my favorite players of this 21 class that was absolutely loaded. I mean, the best class in the history of recruiting by many sites. And, I thought Dallas Turner was going to come in here and show his youth a little bit, but but learn. And I think that's what's so important about this. He's learned. He's gotten better. You see noticeable improvement just even in the 2 games that he's played. And I think, getting these reps in the SEC is important. A lot of the freshmen last year, all the freshmen last year only played in SEC games. So, they kind of got right into it here. I think for the outside linebacker position, you're really going to have to be the most aggressive player maybe on the whole field. So doing it against other SEC teams, I think is important. It was good to play Mississippi State, have to deal with a game on the road and, a game, you could probably win. It wasn't the best team in the SEC West, but it was another SEC West school. And you know what? To start your career at Texas A&M on the road at night, in a game, obviously Alabama loses. I think that's a really good way to get him in. Obviously Alabama, in a spot now where they have to win out. I think to win the national title. I don't think I'm too out of line for saying that. They got to win every game if they want to be champions this season. And, Dallas Turner's now maybe going to have to be a part of that for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I think Drew Sanders, at the very worst, Alabama does have a bye week after this week. At the very worst, he misses Tennessee, maybe doesn't play the entire game against LSU there. But, I think this outside linebacker group is going to be better for this. This group has taken some hits. Will Anderson has been the best outside linebacker in the country, but, Chris Allen would have been his other half. And, now missing him, other guys are having to play. And I think having to play makes you play to that level. And, he's going to get you the experience you need. This defense has been fun. Obviously it's been fun to talk about Pete Golding this season, and the many different narratives that this defense has had around them. But I think this is one of the most fun narratives. The fact that a true freshman that had a lot of hype coming in, gets to play in his first season, has a chance to make an impact.
Here with Trey Annity. My name is Kyle Henderson. We got some super chats to get to before we take your score predictions. Joseph L. Asking about Agiye Hall. First of all, thank you very much for the super chat. We really appreciate you. Let's throw Didi on the screen. Thank you so much, Didi. You've been here, the whole season long with us. We appreciate you very much. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really helps support BamaInsider.com. We'll get to Joseph's question up on the screen right here. What is your guys' opinion of Agiye Hall? And do you think he's going to leave after this season? Trey, why don't you go first, and then I'll give you my opinion on Agiye Hall, the true freshman wide receiver, clearly in the airwaves after his social media post, and curious to get your take on that. I don't think we've talked about this, Trey, so fire away.
We haven't talked about this, and this is something I've really enjoyed getting to talk to, anybody about this week, because this is a player that coming into this season, I thought was going to be, one of the best wide receivers on this team. Definitely the best wide receiver out of this freshman group. We all saw it today. We heard the hype coming in. We saw the size and the athleticism and everything else. So, we all thought this guy was going to get his fair share of playing time. Now, obviously, as the season goes on, he didn't. He's a freshman. We really haven't seen a lot of these freshman receivers get playing time. Obviously, JoJo Earl, now Ja'Cory Burks getting into the fold, but Agiye Hall's been left out of that. And, after the game on Saturday, it was a win. It was a win after a loss, feel-good win too. You expected everything to be kind of high spirits. And then you see the tweet gets brought up in the press conference. It just kind of put a sour feel in the air. And I want to preface this by saying I completely understand where Agiye Hall is coming from. Sitting there watching the kids that you came in with in your class that play your position that, you're just as good as, getting the playing time and you're not, I could see where that would frustrate you to the extent to go on social media, maybe even, and tweet something. But, I lose a little bit of respect here for Agiye Hall, because I think what makes Alabama so great, what separates this program from every other program in the country, is the fact that you do have to wait your turn here. You do have to deal with adversity here, and you're not just going to, get the door open for you because you complained about it. And I think Agiye Hall needed to take this as a lesson, as an opportunity to say, well, what value am I bringing to the team? What am I doing to get on the field right now? Obviously, it's not enough. He went to social media. He's a good enough player to play anywhere in the country, on any given weekend, probably here right now too. But I think this is more of a respect thing and an earn it thing for Nick Saban at this point than it is even a talent thing. And I think Agiye Hall took it personally. That's why he made those tweets. He took down the tweets, which was good to see. This core, it has some maturity. I think they talked with him, Saban, of course, as well. But I want to say I get it, but I wish it wouldn't have happened.
I think that, when you're young and you come into a program like Alabama, any other top tier program. What's up, McConaughey? Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Holy cow, man.
Yes, sir.
I don't smoke, but this series have been smoked with cigar the last couple of years. Hey, man, we know plenty of people that will have a cigar for you, man. So, McConaughey, thank you so much for the super chat. Really goes a long way to support BamaInsider.com. So we sincerely appreciate it. My take right here on Agiye Hall is, look, we've all been young before, and I think we all have said things even today. I think, I try to watch myself with what I say on social media, what I try to say on even in our live shows or on the message boards, because I think that sometimes we let our emotions get the best of us. Everybody, I think, have said something that they don't mean, or something that they didn't want to get out there, or something that you could just go and express publicly or privately with coach or one of the coaches, right? Is social media the best avenue to do that? No. But we've all been young before. We've all said things that we don't mean. So I think for Agiye Hall, it doesn't mean that he's absolutely going to transfer. And Tony Sukalis, our team writer, brought up this point. Jerry Jeudy said something very similar during his freshman season. And I think it worked out very well for him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he signed a nice deal with the Denver Broncos. I know he's banged up right now, but you get the point. You know, these guys come in and they want to be the guy. I mean, you're talking about a bunch of alpha males trying to compete. And look, John Mechie, Jameson Williams, it's going to be hard to leapfrog those guys. And I think the expectations that these guys put on themselves is, perfection. And when they're not playing, they're trying to find value for themselves. So look, these guys are young. Saban's going to deal with it. That's not our job. We can kind of look from an outside in. We don't know all the particulars. Saban has said that, you got to do the right things off the field and on the field. So I think that, we just kind of let it play its course, but I don't think Agiye Hall is going to pack it up anytime soon. Players are hitting the transfer portal. That's the kind of the world we live in, but players were transferring before the transfer portal too. Maybe, the players are going to hit the exodus button a little bit quicker, but, it is what it is, like Saban said. So, we hope the best for all these players, that they can find value for themselves, get some playing time, and, continue to contribute wherever they can. All right. So, with that said, let's continue to maybe we'll do our first set of score predictions. So, okay. So if you guys are new to the score prediction show, first of all, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for the super chats. Chris, our producer, is going to put the scores on the screen. Trey is going to read out the score prediction. I might give some commentary on the avatar, and we'll roll through it like that. And then at the end of the show, we will provide our score prediction right here on BamInsider.com. So, Chris, away we go. First round of score predictions starts now.
You guys just keep bringing the heat, and James the Great in all caps getting us started tonight. 45-10. He's got Bama. And before you start, Kyle, guys, this is an avatar-free zone. I'm sorry that there was, some feedback there, whatever. If you don't have an avatar, that's all right. But for the ones that do, we're going to give you a rating here. What do you got, Kyle?
Oh, I love it, man. James the Great. First of all, I like the username. Big fan of beards. I like the beard in the back. It looks like almost a beanie. And now's the time for beanies. It's getting a little chilly. It was 55, I think, here in Tuscaloosa. I know it's not cold from the majority of people, but in Tuscaloosa, when it dips below 60, we get a little chilly. Keep it going.
Up next, we got Billy Williams coming in 49-14, tied for selfie of the week. This one got some nice lighting on it. I like it.
Yeah, Billy, what's up, man? Appreciate you. 49-14. I like the score prediction overall. I think that could be somewhere a similar number. Saban talked today about Tennessee's offense, said that they go up tempo, and the past teams that have gone up tempo have had some moderate success against Alabama. Billy, nice avatar, man. Keep it going.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And this week, guys, I'm going to come back into the comments. I'm going to find whose score prediction was closest. I'm going to shout you out next week because you guys are working hard, giving us some crazy predictions. And Leo Almond always coming with it. What's up, Leo? Good to see you too, man. 42-17. Leo, the Lion.
Leo the Lion, man. This is one of my favorite avatars because I just like the whole setup right here. Leo means lion. And as I said, everybody's always snacking on the almonds. So keep it going, 42-17.
Charles Taylor's snacking on a 40-point win, 56-16. Roll Tide. I like this one a lot here. Got a first automobile of the week, I think.
Yeah, so what we do when we have our automobiles is, Charles, what you got to do is you got to come with it inside the comment box. Give us the make, the year. I like to know the mileage, I guess, on the car. I like the grill. Tell us about it in the comment box. We'll come back and highlight your vehicle like we do on the score prediction show. Keep it going.
We're slightly a car show here, too. Kimberly Harmon coming in. She's got Alabama at 40. Tennessee 8. Touchdown and a safety and a missed extra point, maybe? I don't know. Roll Tide. R-O-L-E. Roll Tide.
Miss Kim, what's up? You've been a long-time subscriber of Bama Insider on the YouTube channel. You're always here. We appreciate you. Love the pick of the kids. Very family-oriented. Keep it going.
Up next, we got Kawesi and Joku. 56.
Nice job,
7.
Trey.
I think that was right. I don't want to take the credit quite yet, but I think that's what we got. 56-7, Bama.
Yeah, man. I don't know if this might be the real pick. I'm going to say it might be. We might have a youngster with us.
I think so.
And if you look at the score prediction and you kind of look at the total points in this game, this could be right. I mean,
this is right on the nose.
I think that, Vegas feels that there's going to be a lot of points in this game. Maybe Bama just blows up. Third weekend of October. I like it. Keep it going.
This one means a little bit more. Didi Odom bringing the heat as well here, 48-14. I love this score prediction because this one a little bit closer, but right on that number. They got Roll Tide and all exclamations. Love the energy, Didi. 48-14 there.
Yeah, we've commented on DD before. Thank you so much for the super chat earlier. Avatar strong. Keep the Avatar game up. Appreciate it. Keep going.
That's a nice one, yeah. PD, Scott, Sykes, Smith, 42-13. Alabama. How about this? This is the most dapper photo I think we've seen all season.
He's moving to our tournament. Remember, Trey said Trey said at the end of the year that we're gonna have a tournament and it's gonna be an Avatar tournament. So PD, you are definitely going to go into this tournament. This Avatar is fire. Everybody loves bow ties. The drip is hard. Keep it going.
PD definitely getting a bid here. How about Jant Sports?
Oh, I like it.
This is a cool one. 42-23. And it's 23 because Jant Sports does not trust Pete Golding.
Yeah, Pete Golding has been more than a hot topic, right? It's burned some message boards down. In fact, I already saw a hot board, out there for coaches. He's still coaching with the team. As far as the Avatar is strong, look at that. This is a caricature that was clearly designed. It's got the peace sign, so it's all good. 42-23. It's a lot of points, but like you said, Jance doesn't trust Golding. Keep it going.
Up next, we got Ron Pruitt. Maybe related to Jeremy. I don't know. We've heard that name come up when Pete Golding's talked about too. 49-13. They got Alabama. Roll Tide all the way from Waldorf, Maryland. Thank you, sir. We got a meme up here on the screen as well. Thanks for that one, Chris.
All right. So Ron Pruitt, while you're here with us, if you can give us any scoop on the situation at Tennessee, because I think Jeremy's mad. He's going after Tennessee. There's some sort of lawsuit that could happen. Alabama fans, if you go to Bama Insider, this is the coach that they want back at Alabama. I think people want Jeremy back at Alabama. I think they want him next to Coach Saban. Sound off in the comment box if you want Jeremy Pruitt back coaching with the Crimson Tide. All right. We'll go into our next segment. We'll come back, and we always do score predictions kind of throughout the show. So thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. And one thing if you're new to the show, my name is Kyle Henderson. He is Trey Anity. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on this beautiful October 20th. As you know, it's the third weekend in October. Time to get the cigars ready to go because Alabama has not lost to Tennessee since 2006. Trey, I want to know, where were you in 2006? Were you crawling yet?
Maybe at that point. I was in first grade, but I still don't know if I was even crawling then. But yeah, somewhere around there. So, 2006, that was a long time ago. I was actually, if you follow our kind of, my show and kind of my journey at that point, I was in Washington, D.C. I was up in Capitol Hill. It was good, man. But 2006 is such a long time. Saban talked about Tennessee's run game and their offense. Let's get to that because, Saban said that their offense can move the ball a little bit. We saw a lot of fireworks against Ole Miss. Let's play that clip. I'll put Saban on the screen. I'll dub down the music, and that is at 3:20. And this is Saban talking about the Tennessee offense and the run game and the tempo.
Has great lower body explosion, initial quickness, and that's.
Okay, we'll go to Michael Casagrande.
Yeah, Tennessee has one of the better running offenses in the nation. What makes them so effective or unique in that game?
Well, I think that they go fast. So people have to get lined up and be ready to play. I think they got a really good runner. And I think their quarterback's ability to run, contributes to that in terms of quarterback run. So when they run the zone play, he's very capable. If you try to cheat the end on the dive, the quarterback's going to pull the ball. And, they've been very effective at doing that. And they're very well coached. So they don't usually do it and make bad plays. They usually do it and make very positive plays. So they've got quarterback runs. They've got quarterback draws. They get you spread out and run those plays, which is very challenging for the people up front. So, and they've got ability to throw the ball. So you can't just say we're going to play the quarterback runs. because they made a lot of explosive plays in the passing game because the vertical stretch of the field. And when they get you spread out, they'll spit it out there if you don't have enough guys out there, and make positive plays as well. So this offense is very challenging.
We'll go to Aaron Suttles.
Guys in the middle of the defense.
All right, now coming up, this was pretty funny. But before, we're going to post Tennessee's schedule on screen so we can kind of look at Tennessee as a glance. When you click share, the screen will pop up, Chris. But Trey, your thoughts on Tennessee's offense and maybe the trajectory of their program overall? I think, is it slightly up? Is it kind of, where they've been? Yeah, and zoom nice and tight on that if you can, Chris, so we can kind of take a better look at that. What's your take on this Tennessee team? Clearly, Alabama, the big favorite coming into this game. Josh Heupel, the new head football coach, and Saban talked today during the SEC teleconference about kind of an overhaul at Tennessee. A lot of transfers. Maybe over 10 guys that have transferred in. Of course, Henry To'oTo'o transferred out. But your thoughts on this Tennessee team going into this game and maybe kind of the state of the program in short?
Yeah, what's up, Sam? Before I get started here, thanks for joining us again tonight. Saw you on the recruiting show last night. Appreciate all your support, man. But, Kyle, this Tennessee program, for as bad as it's been, I think this is where they turn the corner. I think Josh Heupel is the perfect hire for them. A lot of people maybe were kind of confused at first when they made that hire. Who is Josh Heupel? What's the deal here? I think they needed a low-key brand, at least for the short term, because, we've been talking about Tennessee with Jeremy Pruitt, all these other crazy headlines, the amount of recruits they've lost. And then Jaron Garantano comes in and, it's just terrible. So, to get a guy that recruits more of a low-key player, kind of like the players here at Alabama, I think that's perfect for this team. And, you look at year one, they're working with Joe Milton. He's going to be the quarterback, whatever. All of a sudden, Hendon Hooker falls into their lap, and they have a quarterback that is, top 10 in the country. You look at this offense last year, out of the 128 schools that Sports Reference decides to, kind of rank throughout all their statistics, Tennessee was 109th in points per game. Mm-hmm. This season, they're 11th in the country in points per game. And it's because of their quarterback, Hendon Hooker, in my opinion. Starts, you look at their defense a little bit, solid edge rush there. But really with this offense, it's completely different. And I think that's what makes it, a bit more challenging for the SEC this season. If Tennessee hadn't lost to Pittsburgh, they're probably in the top 25 right now. And if they had figured out a way to win that wacky game against Ole Miss on Saturday, we're talking about a one-loss team that is probably somewhere in the top 20 at this point. Hooker is day-to-day. We heard in the teleconference today from Josh Heupel that Hendon Hooker is still kind of working through his injury. They're going to wait till the end of the week to really make a decision on him. So if he plays, I think this Tennessee offense could certainly be potent enough, not to win the game necessarily, but to at least stick around and, cause some commotion. You remember just a few years ago, I think it was 2019, Tennessee came to Alabama and put up quite the fight. If Garantano hadn't fumbled the ball at the goal line and it got returned for 100 yards, we might be talking about that as the first time Tennessee won since 2006. So, this is a different team. I think this is a real opportunity for Tennessee, even if they don't win the game, to come in and kind of prove themselves a little bit and show that they're not the old Tennessee. They're turning the corner. I think Josh Heupel is the guy to do that.
Wasn't that Trayvon Diggs that returned?
It was.
Trayvon Diggs.
Oh,
my goodness. We might have to do a NFL appreciation. Maybe that would be a really cool show. We do an NFL appreciation every Thursday.
I'd love that.
And just highlight all the guys. That show would be 9 hours long.
Yeah, oh my
right?
God.
If we just did Bama. But, I don't know. But before we get to that, Chill Will, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Always super chatting the fan, man. Keeping people fed since 2017, since we took over. So thank you so much, man. We appreciate you more than you know. All the super chats so much. Thank you very much. As we look to this schedule for Tennessee, and you brought this up, and so did Coach Saban earlier today. I want to play this soundbite from the teleconference. You look at their schedule overall. They're very close to being a one-loss team, as you mentioned. They got Florida beat the brakes out of them, but that game against Ole Miss, that game they had the football in the final possession. I didn't like the way that the ending, it was like so anticlimactic. He just ran out of bounds.
That was
I would have at least tossed the ball behind me or something.
Give an effort.
And then that game against Pitt, I watched that game. Now Pitt has a nice quarterback and receiving combo, and Pitt plays Clemson this week in Pitt. That's a game to watch.
It's going to be a really fun game.
I'm going with Pitt all the way in that game.
And they're favored. Clemson's not favored for the first time.
Clemson has no offense
at all.
Oh my goodness, none.
DJU stinks.
But Saban, that's That's a big statement.
I know.
That's a big statement.
I wanted to say hot take after, but is it even hot at this point? Look at the numbers.
Okay. All right. This is getting hot. Saban talked about the Tennessee overhaul today during his SEC teleconference. I want to pipe that in because I think it's important. It kind of builds to this game. Let me get to that. Saban talking about the Tennessee overhaul today during the SEC teleconference.
Was at UCF. Their top quarterbacks were at Virginia Tech and Michigan. Their leading rusher was in JUCO, and their top deep threat was at Mississippi State. Given such an overhaul, how surprised are you that Tennessee is having the success? Because that 4-3 record could easily be 6-1.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Lost a couple close games, but they have good players, and they've done a good job of, like overhauling and getting some players in that could make an immediate impact, which I think you have an opportunity to do with players being able to transfer like they are now. And they've done a really good job of that. And they should be certainly credited for the job that they've done to kind of retool and get players that can do well in their system. And they've certainly done that. I mean, both their quarterbacks have played well when they've played. They've improved the skill level. The runner is the best, player on the offensive team in terms of consistent performance and production, even though he's been injured a little bit lately. And that's why they're, one of the top scoring teams in the conference.
You used the term retool. Do you think the term
All right, that was Coach Saban talking about the Tennessee kind of overhaul. And you can catch that teleconference on our YouTube channel. Just go to the YouTube channel, look for the teleconference. Posted every Wednesday, probably around 11 a.m. So right before you hit the lunchroom for that break, definitely check out the SEC teleconference. I found it interesting today during the teleconference that Saban talked about fake injuries and players faking injuries to kind of bide more time. Maybe the game's getting hot towards the end of the game or a team is going tempo. And Saban brought up the example, almost kind of threw Florida under the bus, called a spade, said that during the Florida game, Alabama was going tempo towards the end, and a Florida player, he doesn't know if he faked it or not, but got injured and kind of slowed the game down, reset the play clock to where it was. Here's Saban talking about fake injuries, and I want to get your take on fake injuries because I think it's worth noting, and I'm kind of curious to see how if the NCAA at all kind of looks into this or just get kind of everyone's thoughts on players kind of almost flopping, so to speak.
so many games where it appears there are fake injuries? Some have suggested sitting out 4 or 5 plays or sitting out a possession. Do you have any suggestions on how to curb this?
Not really. I mean, it really slows the game down, so it's not probably a good thing for the game. It's not something that we've ever done here. But, it's, when a team goes fast, which everybody has the right to go fast, and you go on long drives, some players, you got to exert a lot of energy to play defense and run to the ball every time. So players get tired. When players get tired, they're more susceptible to getting injured probably. And you don't have enough timeouts to call timeout. So I understand why some people do it. We've not done it here. But you still get a 40-second clock on offense. We had a situation in our Florida game this year at the end of the game where we're trying to take the air out of it, and one of their players go down to stop the clock. And maybe it was legit. I don't really know, but the clock gets reset to 40 seconds and starts on the ready for play. So it doesn't affect the time in the game. It does impact the pace of play. So I don't have a solution to it. I mean, there's a lot of good people out there that are above my pay grade. I probably shouldn't even be trying to answer this question.
Well, thank you.
All right. First of all, I don't think there's a lot of people above Saban's pay grade, right? So I don't know, Saban is the commissioner. That's how I refer to him. He's the coach at Alabama and the college football commissioner. Trey, your take on players flopping? I mean, we see it if you watch Premier League soccer. You see it quite frequently. You see it in the NBA, on TNT. Trey, your thoughts on players flopping, fake injuries in college football?
Yeah, Kyle, I was going to say this is something that if you're a soccer fan, you're more than used to, and I don't think it took you by surprise in that Florida game or any of the other instances. But this has been a weird deal.
Wait, we lost you. Trey went somewhere.
Do you have my audio at least?
Yeah, I think so, but you might have flopped. Are you flopping? Trey flopped.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess this is my flop of this season.
Let me ask the fans out there. Can you guys hear Trey hit it? Okay, so Chris can hear.
Did the clock stop at least?
Give me a thumbs up if you could hear Trey while he gets back on screen. All right, continue, Trey. I think they can hear you.
Okay, sweet. Well, yeah, I'll just do this omniscient narrative voice here for a little bit, if nothing else, as we try to get this figured out. But Kyle, this is something I noticed in the NFL way before I noticed it in college. And I don't know if you guys remember that Jets game a few years ago where the two players flopped at the same time. The two players went down, and that's when it really, I think, became obvious. The NFL stepped in after that game and, said some things, tried to make rule changes. And I think in the NFL, it's more of a respect thing to not do it. But in college, you notice that, it's kind of anything goes. And I think for these players, if they can look at it not as, a flop or being soft or anything else, but as a chance to sacrifice themselves to, potentially be a hero for their team, potentially give their team more time or whatever the case may be. I don't think for the players, it's that big of a deal. I think they're kind of happy to do it in some instances. I think it needs to be the coach then coming in and making sure that the player knows that it's not okay. And if that's the NCAA, like Nick Saban said, if that's the NCAA coming in and making a rule or, something else to stop this from happening, so be it. But, at this point, I don't think it's a big enough issue to address. If we continue to see it, get worse, I think you'd make a rule at that point. But, as of right now, I think that, it happens, but it doesn't happen as frequently as maybe, in the NFL or, of course, overseas in their soccer leagues there.
All right. We're trying to get Trey back. Dwayne says, hello. I want to put Dwayne on here because Dwayne, he's been a long time subscriber of our YouTube channel. He's saying 49-10, the total points being 60. We will have another period shortly where we do read out the score predictions. But thank you, Dwayne. He is a member of our YouTube channel. How do you do that? Hit the join button at the bottom of our screen. While we wait for Trey to get back and get all set up, I kind of wanted to jump back and revisit Saban and from Wednesday night. So each Wednesday, Saban has his Wednesday night press conference, and while we beam Trey Yanity back in from Mars, okay, he's with us now.
We are here.
He's arrived. Saban talked about a Tennessee transfer by the name of Henry To'oTo'o. Now, I know there's a lot of people who have different opinions about Henry To'oTo'o. I think people felt he played good, really good against Miami. And then he didn't play so well in the next couple games. And then he played well again. So it was kind of like going back and forth. Coach Saban talked about kind of the leadership of Henry To'oTo'o on the defensive side. That is a good soundbite going into this game against Tennessee, because obviously he came from Tennessee. So let's play that soundbite of Coach Saban
normally or
Henry To'oTo'o, and that is going to be at, I think, the 4-minute and 30-second video.
We'll go to Aaron Suttles.
Oh, and I have to tell you, this is one of the funniest parts of tonight's press conference. Okay, so Aaron Suttles works for The Athletic. Now, during the Zoom press conference, you can see all the reporters up in kind of the top of the box. And Suttles had his child with him. He's a baby boy, and Suttles is holding the baby. So Saban can see Aaron Suttles, and he's holding the baby while Aaron Suttles is at work. So this is a very funny clip. So you're gonna try to like wonder like what's going on, but clearly Coach Saban can see that Aaron Suttles has a child with him. So it's a very funny soundbite with also some good context on Henry To'oTo'o.
You know, guys in the middle of the defense normally, or that's sort of a guys especially call the defense, that's sort of a leadership role. How was that for Henry To'oTo'o this year, coming in as a first-year player at Alabama, and how has he sort of progressed in that role?
Well, I have a question for you, first of all. I mean, did I finally get to meet the boss?
I apologize. My wife is not home yet, so I'm having to pull dad duty.
Well, this is the best behavior I've seen you on since I've been here. I mean, obviously.
I apologize.
No, you don't have to apologize. I mean, I if this is the way it's going to be, I'd like for him to be there all the time. All right. So, yeah, Henry has done a really good job. He's a good communicator. He's smart. I think he helps everybody else play better up front in terms of his ability to communicate, have good understanding of the defense, what the offense is trying to do, what we're trying to do on defense to stop it. And I think that's been very helpful to all of our players. Communication on defense is really important in adjustments. And that's one of the things that I think Henry has really added, to our group, is his ability to communicate and help other people be confident in doing the right things.
Okay, I think we're going to try Mike Rodak one more time.
That was Coach Saban. Let me know if you guys want to see some of the Pro Football Focus grades up until this point. I'll be happy to put them on. We can run through some of them. So just give me a thumbs up inside the comment box. What we're going to do now is run through some of these score predictions. If you're new to the score prediction show, how it works, we'll cue the music, and Trey is going to read off the score prediction. Chris, our producer, is going to post that score prediction on the screen, and then I'm going to give you guys some feedback on the avatar. Won't be anything fancy. Charles, we're still looking for an update on that nice grill. It looked like a nice car, so maybe you're typing up a report on it, or maybe you ran out to go get the mileage. So let's start up with the score predictions again. Chris, get ready, and let's get the music cued, and let's have some fun with it.
We're gonna let Charles get the Kelly Blue Book on.
Wait. Let this this is a nice
Excuse
track.
me, you're right.
Coming to you from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. All right, go ahead.
We gotta wait on the bass drop now at this point. Gotta give a shout out first to Paul Stokes. That's the biggest roll tide I've seen all season, and I read it. First up on round number 2. No names, please. We will not ask for any mention. Any 49-17 RTR. I like this score a lot.
All right, keep it going. 49-17. Roll Tide roll. Keep it going. But I love the username. No names, please.
Yeah, I know it. This is a good one too here. Beans and cornbread. Keeping it country for us. 40-17. Bama.
Yeah, beans and cornbread, never a bad idea, especially with it coming up to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, true
right?
that.
Beans and cornbread. All right, nice. Like it. 40-17.
We got Halloween first, and Gerald Vickery has got the Tide here. 34-20. Roll Tide.
Man, 34-20. That would be a tight game. Could you imagine the meltdown if Alabama was to get into only a 14-point win at Bryant-Denny Stadium? All right, keep it going.
High Power TV coming with it as always. 48-24. Alabama. Tennessee can score the ball. I like that he's giving some respect here to the Volunteers. But 48-24 there. I like that one.
And be a lot of points. We've seen the score prediction, a lot of points expected. And I think Saban was kind of, saying that Tennessee has a pretty good offense. So I guess we'll have to see what goes down in this one. I'm a little bit more confident that they keep them under kind of that 14-point, but maybe I could be wrong. As we were saying, they're nervous about the defense. So keep it going. 48-24. Okay, thanks, High Power.
No doubt. And it was 31-26 in 2 high-powered offenses last week for Tennessee. Tom Brown's got it. 45. He's got the Hillbillies. I'm assuming that's the school in Knoxville there. He's got them scoring 13 points, 45-13.
45-13, Tom Brown. That would be under the total points.
It would,
I guess. But I do see Alabama scoring somewhere between the 56 and 45 margin. So
yeah.
I kind of like this score. Okay, keep it going. Thanks, Tom.
Solid prediction there. And can we address the fact that some Bama fans want Pete gone? I know the defense needs to tighten up, but his defense just won a natty. That's a very true point there, Marcus. I saw this one last week. This one is an automatic bid. I think 1-2 seed, maybe number one overall, even 52-24 on the score prediction.
Yeah, we're gonna have to dive more into the kind of the avatar, kind of the background of them. We've talked about Pete Golding, several different ways, and every time we say something, I think people, either love it or hate it or just have different opinions about it. Tonight it's about the score prediction. So 52-24. You know what? This does seem realistic. I think 24 points still a lot, but I could see something like this as well. Okay, let's see what else we got. Go ahead.
Up next, we got Chris. Did you put a score prediction in here? Chris, the producer, now 50-3, Bama, RTR. This is a really high-tech, crazy avatar here. I love it.
Yeah, a lot going on here. Kind of a split brain in a sense, like split right down the middle. You got some right brain, left brain going on. 50-3. Man, if I'll tell you what, if Alabama only allows 3 points, that would be crazy because they only allowed 9 points against Mississippi State. The defense got hot. I think it was last year. There was I think it was like 6 or 8 quarters where they didn't allow a touchdown. Curious to see how the defense plays because they played certainly inspired. 7 interceptions, 3 interceptions, only 9 points against Mississippi State. I like it. Thanks for the post, Chris.
Up next, we got Tommy Tidwell coming in. This is a very even score, 30-point separation here, 50-20. This one covers. This one covers for Bama as well. I like this score.
And I like this avatar, man. That's really nice. It looks, I mean, someone clearly did some great graphic work. You got Smitty, Najee, Mac Jones, and the GOAT itself. That's certainly a framer.
Wow, that's a really nice one. Got the CFP logo in the background, a little hard rock there at the bottom. Really nice there, Tommy Tidwell. Thank you for getting your score prediction.
And I like the name Tommy Tidwell.
Yeah, it flows off the tongue well. Yeah.
All the way through. 5 stars. Okay.
Thank you, Tommy. Paul Stokes getting in here after his long roll tide. He had to take a second to regroup, and he got us a score prediction. It's 49-13. He's got the good guys taking over the garbage truck workers and their convention.
Yeah, Paul, thanks, man. He came in hot. He was like,
I thought it was a spammer at first. I just thought somebody was typing O's.
Yeah. All right, Paul. Good stuff, man. Keep it going.
Up next, Sam is going to preface here. My avatar is all the way live. Tennessee has to throw up orange. They're low down, they are dirty, and there are some snitches, of course. Alabama 48-20.
Clearly referencing one of the greatest, college sports videos of all time, right? Sam, nice. That is John Mechie laying the wood. Probably the biggest hit ever in college football, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, where were you when you saw that hit?
Did you guys see that Mario thing of all the rings popping out when you got it? That was classic.
Yeah, that was that's Sonic. Yeah.
Oh, Sonic.
Right,
excuse me.
Yeah, because when you were Sonic and you got going really fast, you were going down the hill and you hit somebody, all the coins went out. So that was kind of the preference of that. Sam, appreciate it, man. Keep going. What else?
Need to get more well versed in my video games, obviously. But Slimeball Jr. well versed in his scores. Good one last week, I remember, and a good one this week. 42-20 Bama, and this time we got 6 exclamation points on there. He's loving it. This is one of my favorite avatars here.
Yeah, as well. And the avatar is really, really good, and the username is great. Slimeball Jr. Seriously, I mean, him and Tommy Tidwell. I mean, that's gonna be one of those 8-9 matchups. In the bracket where you just don't know who's gonna advance. Idea. All right, love it. Keep going.
Fall Madness. Derek Austin, 53-13. We got a drummer here, I believe.
Yeah. And it was funny that Derek comes up in this because I was just having this conversation with my wife today. I was like, think about how the coordination and kind of the strength that you have to be a drummer. Imagine at a concert, if you're the drummer in the percussion, you got to come with it all the time. So point. Yeah, Derek Austin, appreciate you, man. We'll let's do a couple more score predictions.
Let's keep it going into James Lambert now. 48-13. I believe this one's brought to you by Toyota.
Nice. I like it. James coming with it. Very professional. Nobody's ever disliked a Toyota. Very solid, very dependable. So James always coming with it. Big fan of all the lineups. What else we got?
T. Lou Palmer mukbang. Wow.
Okay.
That was a hard one to get through, but we did it. 42-0. Roll Tide. Time for a blowout. I'm with you.
We got another selfie. 42-0. Man, this is our first, I think, shutout prediction, right?
Yeah, I think so. This week, at least. That's
what I'm saying for this week. And what would Alabama fans say if Alabama comes out with a shutout?
Oh my goodness, they would have no idea what to say. Well, the players came out and they played their tails off.
You know what they said? It'd be like Saban called the defense.
Exactly. Bill O'Brien moved over. Oh man.
All right, we'll get back to on our next sequence. We will post our score predictions. So let's kind of finish out the show. We got a couple more things to get through, and then we will move on to our score predictions. So going into this game, clearly when you look at college football as a whole, and I want to get everybody's take on this, right? Because now is a time where we start to talk college football playoffs, odd scenarios. So clearly I think everybody has Georgia at the number 1 spot. Now, Brett McMurphy recently came out with an article on Monday, was reading it on the Action Network, that has Alabama actually as a number 1 seed. And that would mean that Alabama would beat Georgia in the SEC championship. So then theoretically, in this scenario, you would have Alabama 1, Georgia 2, number 3, Oklahoma, and number 4, Ohio State. Now, I think when you start to talk about college football playoff odds, who's going to make the playoffs, right? I get it. There's a long way away. But I'll tell you what, Alabama, I think we already said it, has to win out. They have to beat Georgia. Georgia has to, run the table. But the team that I'm curious about is Oklahoma, because when you look at their back end of their schedule, they have Iowa State and they have Baylor and they have Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma is a team, they might win every game or they could lose any of those games. But I'll tell you what, that the freshman at quarterback, Kalen Williams, balling out. What do you think? What do you think about Oklahoma? Maybe give me some playoff feedback.
Oklahoma is a really interesting team this year. My mom's actually an alum, so she's always giving me the updates there. And coming into the season, Spencer Rattler was the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman, and he was supposed to be the guy, more than Bryce, more than DJU, more than all these other guys. And he is obviously not even playing for his team anymore, but somehow this team has figured out a way to bring in a true freshman at quarterback, continue to keep this offense rolling. Now you look on the other side of the ball, that's where you get worried. This defense has been terrible. They've been pretty much as bad as, when Kyler Murray was there. And even before that, this defense has been really bad. They, only beat Tulane by 5 points. And then, 2 weeks later struggled and then the Texas game. And there's a lot of, narratives and kind of just outside noise surrounding this team after the Spencer Rattler stuff and everything else going on in the Big 12. So what, does this team have to do to get in the playoff? I think they just have to beat Oklahoma State, to be honest, because I don't think Baylor is going to create that much, of a problem for them. But I think Oklahoma State could. This Oklahoma State team is really interesting. Iowa State.
I mean, look,
I don't want to sleep, but
no, Iowa State has played Oklahoma well the last couple of years. Yeah. Even, they almost beat them when Jalen was there,
and they beat them, back 2014. I think 15.
So you look at that. Then they still have to win the Big 12 championship, which I guess would be against, at this point, would it be Texas or Oklahoma State? I don't know how it would work because they only play the number 2 team.
It's so weird in the Big 12.
Okay,
it's really weird.
Let me ask you this out there, okay? There's 2 teams that I want to get your feedback on: Oregon and Cincinnati. Now, if Cincinnati runs a table, I know they're kind of harping on that win against Notre Dame. Do they have enough of a playoff resume to make the top 4? Are they going to be the first non-Power 5 to make the playoffs? And then Oregon. I know they lost to Stanford. They lost to the Cardinal. Hey, Sam, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Goes a long way. Big night of super chats tonight. This might be a record for Bama Insider.
I was going to say, this last week, you guys have been bringing it.
Yeah, so thank you very much. It means a lot to us. So we appreciate you guys. Oregon, lost to Stanford, the Cardinal, in overtime. Now, if Oregon is able to run the table, could Mario Cristobal somehow get the Ducks in? However, when you look at their back end schedule, they got some teams that could upset them, including just their simple rival, Oregon State. Yeah. Seriously, any of those games could be kind of go down to the wire. I don't know if the Pac-12 has it in them to get to the playoffs this particular year. Give me your take on Cincinnati, led by former running back Jerome Ford, who, by the way, scored 4 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, he is going crazy. Desmond Ridder, this whole offense at Cincinnati is really nice. And, I don't think Notre Dame is a top even 15 team, but that was a huge win for that program. And Indiana as well, just getting Power 5 wins, saying, well, look, last year we probably should have made it. This year we're undefeated and we're getting the wins we need to. I think at this point, there's not a scenario where you keep Cincinnati out unless they lose a game, of course. But, I think they've done enough this season. I think they will be that first Group of 5, And I think, they have to turn around and give all the credit in the world to UCF, to Boise State, to these other programs that have made it doable. Because, before those schools, even though they didn't make the playoff or win the national championship, they made this a possibility for schools like Cincinnati. And I think, as this whole Oklahoma, Texas thing goes on, we're going to see more schools have the chance to do this because the conferences are going to get all kinds of shaken up. I'm excited to see it. To be honest with you, Kyle, I think Cincinnati's the kind of team that gets into the playoff, maybe has to play a Georgia. I think they'll end up being a 4 seed probably plays a Georgia. And, I just don't think they win that game. I don't think they're really going to have much success against the top 3, but maybe I'm crazy. I didn't expect him to get this far. So I like him to this point. I'll be quick on Oregon here. I think Oregon has a doable schedule, but they've looked really inconsistent this season. The weather's getting cold in some of those, Northwestern games there. So that could throw them off a little bit, but I think that they find a way to get in as well.
All right. We want to hear from you inside the comment box on kind of your thoughts about the playoff scenario along with your score predictions. Okay. As we get to the end of the show, now it's time for our score predictions. Trey, I'll let you go first. So with that said, take it away.
I'm going to agree with a lot of our commenters tonight. And, this is something that might frustrate Alabama fans a little bit, but I'm going to say If Hendon Hooker is the starting quarterback for Tennessee in this game, they put up 17 points. Alabama is comfortable, though. They score 42 points, win this game decisively. 42-17 is what I got. And no cover there on the line.
Okay, well, I'm going to be very similar to you. So I think that Alabama's offense is going to continue to flourish. I think you're going to see a big game from continued progress from Bryce Young. I think that Brian Robinson is going to be the bell cow. I think you're going to see some big explosive plays. Wouldn't be surprised to see a big special teams touchdown. I think Alabama wins by a score of 49-17 with Tennessee getting 10 points, maybe in that third quarter, somewhere around there, maybe a late field goal. I think the defense plays inspired, and I think Alabama wins another game. So remember, R&R Cigar, great place to get your cigars. If you're here in Tuscaloosa, go over to the Cigar Mansion. Also have a location up in Northport. Good friends with Reagan Starter. Tell them Kyle Henderson sent you. He's Trey Hennedy. I'm Kyle Henderson. We hope you have a beautiful rest of your week. Be good people. We'll catch you soon back on BamaInsider.com. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. You can be a member of our YouTube channel by simply hitting the join button at the bottom of this screen. Thank you very much, and we will catch you next time right here on